gentleman on the front row. And straight and go, Matt Bassett. There you go, Matt. Keith Firminger as well will be spotting for us, by the way. Keith, keep your eyes on.
In the future, do you see Sheffield United coming out of Bramall Lane and into a new stadium?
No way. I think we're only going to make the stadium better. Bramall Lane is one of
We have the mics on stage.
Sorry. I said no way, of course. I mean, Bramall Lane is a historical stadium. We're always, Sheffield United will always play in Bramall Lane, but we have to make it better. It's a great facility, but it can be improved in a lot of areas. So we're never moving out.
Ladies and gentlemen, one thing I did ask is that when you're asking your question, could you please direct who it's to? Sorry about that, even I didn't get that one. Next question, please. One at the back of the room. John, your name, sir, and your question. And
Yeah, my name's Steve, yeah. I've got two questions and a plea. I'll try and get them in. So to the Prince, where do you see this club? What's your visions for the club for the next 3 to 5 years? Do you see us just trying to stay in the Premier League, or do you see it more than that? Do you see us challenging for Europe and things like that? And if so, if it is more than that, have you got the wealth and the investment to do that? So that's my question to you. Question to Chris: are you happy? And my plea is, if we lose 3 or 4 games on a spin, don't get rid of that guy. He's the best manager we've ever had.
I don't know if you saw it. The Prince went live on Sky and said, if you lose the next 27 games, I'm still in the job. So I think I've got a little bit of job security there.
I think Sheffield United is a big club. I mean, if you look at the clubs that been in the Premier League and not got relegated like the past 10 years, there are many clubs small. Sheffield is bigger than many clubs that has been established themselves in the Premier League. So we should never. I mean, I know it's difficult league, and it's all the games will be tough. But I'm confident with Chris, with the team we have, we will be much better. And I believe that if you notice what we did this summer, we brought 10 players. Next year, if we're in when we are in the Premier League, I should say, we're going to go for maybe quality, not quantity. So I think every year we are in the Premier League, we will get stronger. And step by step, I mean, I don't know about Chris. I warned him, if he wins the Premier League this year, he should be fired, because it's not fair to other clubs, really.
Thank you, Prince Abdullah. Next question, please. These are great ones coming from the floor. Let's keep the quality up. Who's next standing there? Come on, this is your night, ladies and gentlemen. Are we going to spot it? Yep, off you go, Kate. Your name, please, madam, and the question for whom it is.
Right, my name's Yolanda Booker. This is for the Prince. When Jim was here before, he did a really good job. What's the chances of him coming back, please? Jim Phipps.
Yes, I know. Jim doesn't work for me right now, but I'm always proud that I always keep good relationship with all the people who worked with me before. So Jim, I may use Jim. I don't know in what capacity, but he's now a Sheffield United fan. He always writes me emails and WhatsApps. He follows the team. It's a possibility, but nothing is nothing. I don't know when or where.
Stephen, Yolanda trying to replace you as CEO already. We've only 5 minutes.
No. Oops, I forgot that Stephen is here.
Question at the back of the room, John. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Richard, and it's to the Prince. Why did the club not issue a statement of gratitude to Mr. McCabe, given his tireless efforts and service for nearly a quarter of a century, and the £100 million he has put into the club? There has been nothing vaguely magnanimous or conciliatory from you. Is it true that you acted dishonestly and with deception in transferring shares in your UTB company to a new UTB company 2018, merely to ensure 75% shareholding in SUFC was not attained by the contractor? And as such, you avoided your clear obligations you had in the agreement with Mr. McCabe in 2013.
Thank you very much. You didn't have to read this. It's a short question. Number one, I think Kevin is part of the club. He will always be treated with respect. I present Sheffield United, the club now, and we're going to always be good to anybody who did any good to the club in the past, regardless of my relationship with him. And I want to tell you, I always reach to Kevin. I always treat him very well because he deserves to be treated well. I invited him last week to Paris. We had good dinner together. So that's the first part. The second part about the legal case, I think I only ask you to read the verdict. You seem to read very well. Please read please read the judge ruling, and the answer will be there.
Thank you. Prince Musa'ad, you're joining the team at Sheffield United Football Club, and I think it would be fair to say that you're potentially the youngest chairman, not in this football club's history, but in the Premier League. It must be a big task ahead of you.
Yeah, so as you know, I'm not your new centre forward, so it's my dream job. I'm very confident that we will drive the club very well alongside our great manager and our great CEO and the staff. We have very good people here at the club, and we would like to improve the club, and we'd like to stay in the Premier League and improve our brand and be recognized globally as a Premier League club. And we just want to improve, and it's business as usual, to be honest.
And Prince Musa'ad, is it pertinent at this time to ask you what role you'll be taking within the new structure of Sheffield United?
So I come from a business background. I was sector manager in sports entertainment at Ernst & Young, and my background is strategy and business. So I'll be driving the strategy forward and supporting Chris and Stephen and all of the departments. I'll be living in Sheffield, and I'm very excited about that. We have a beautiful city, and we'll be focusing on the academy, because our academy has strong credentials. We have the best players come across. The most expensive defender in the world is one of our own, and we are very proud of that. So we're going to focus on the academy and improve our facilities and move forward, and hopefully stay in the Premier League for many years to come.
Well done.
Forever.
Can I stress as well that the Prince's induction pack does include chip butty? We've managed to locate some magnet, but we're not going to leave off the Woodbines, I think, in that one. Next question, please. John, we've got your name, sir, please, and who are your questions for?
Chris Connors for Prince Abdullah. Will the club be put into major debt to acquire Bramall Lane and the academy place?
No, I mean, first of all, the real estate price has not been set yet. We're still, that will be, if I don't reach an agreement with Kevin, then the court will put somebody to evaluate the real estate. But we're committed to buying that real estate. Of course, if God forbid we get relegated, that will be a huge responsibility. But I'm committed to cover it. The club will not carry that.
Okay, sir. Yeah, one down here, sir. Once again, your name, please, and your question, who for?
It's Alan Crawshaw. Thanks for this tonight. It's been brilliant. My concern, or one of my, and a lot of other blades, season tickets. You're not going to rise to 800 and 900 quid for surely to God, because we can't. A lot of people in this sport United, we can't afford that.
No, I mean,
so we don't want.
No problem. I mean, I think we'll always care about our fans. We'll care our city. The club without the fans is nothing. So we will always be very careful in that area.
I don't think I've had one question for our manager, Chris Wilder, yet. Give Chris a big clap. Cheers, John. He's here still. As a lifelong blade, I mean, you bleed red, white and black through your veins. I suppose, although you've cracked on with the job, I mean, last 3 years have been successful to say the least, but I'm assuming now you must feel relieved that there's an answer to the question and you can start to move on.
I do believe that, players, some insecure coaches and managers can use any excuse as an excuse, and certainly we haven't. It's I've always been consistent with this. I work for the football club. I work for the owners of the football club, and as I've been consistent, and I've saying as well, we are all custodians and play our part in keeping the club together. And when players have gone, when owners have gone, when the manager goes, the club's still got to be stable and viable and strong and healthy. And that's obviously, you know, down to the people concerned to make sure that happens. As far as I'm concerned, you know, it hasn't been an ideal situation, but being in football, these things happen. And I should imagine from Prince Abdullah and Kevin McCabe's viewpoint as well, going into the agreement 6 years ago, I should imagine the first thing that they dreamed of and hoped for was to get into the Premier League, which we've done fantastically well all together to make that happen. But I should imagine that both of them would have been hopeful that they would have still been in charge together and not gone down the route that's had to go down. But these things happen, and as you said, we have to get on with it and move on and move forward. I've got to say, I know from Richard's point of view there, and I'm sure, you know, there will be something that comes out. From my point of view, my relationship with Kevin was first class, as it has always been with Prince Abdullah. They've treated me with respect, and I've treated both of them with respect. I've flagged up situations what I think needed addressing at the time, and they've been very respectful of my view. And to be fair, in terms of supporting me and Steve Bates, in terms of getting on with the job of taking us on this journey, they've been fully supportive, and we couldn't have done it without both owners.
Well said, Chris. We have the back of the room again, Kate. Once again, can't see this from down here. Say your name, please, your question, and to whom it's directed.
Yeah, good evening. My name's Kevin, and it's a question for the Prince. From my understanding of the court decision is that you have to pay roughly £50 million for the ground, the hotel, and the training establishment. Obviously, there's going to be money for players as well, which hopefully will take it to 80, £100 million. You've said that you do not want to sell the club, albeit that we've got an American company that's wanting to possibly buy it. One, can we confirm that you have the resources and the finance to fund the company and the football club? And B, are you going to be looking for investment elsewhere in order to compensate for this £100 million or so that we need the club to keep going?
Let me answer your question in three parts. Number one, the value, I mean, the value has not been set. It's not £50 million. I don't know, it will be 50, 40, whatever number it is, that is it's not set yet. That's number one. Number two, I believe always action speaks louder than words. Look at what happened in the last transfer window. We had smooth transfer window. We had one problem when we signed Musa'ad. I don't want to go to the past, but my partner, who I respect very much, had a problem signing Musa'ad, but we were able to talk him out of it. Then when McBurney, we wanted to sign McBurney, and I'm saying now facts, this is not an opinion. He did not want to sign McBurney. He thought it's very expensive to sign one player for that type of money. So I told him, I will sign him, I'm responsible. I didn't know at the time if I'll be the owner of the club or not. And I gave a guarantee that I will cover any shortfall to the club so we could sign McBurney, because I thought it will be very embarrassing after the player had finished his medical and we agreed fees with Swansea City that we will go back and not sign the player. And I thought that the player is good. He's the type of player Chris like, hungry, good player, bring some things that we don't have in the current squad. So, I mean, if I didn't care, I would have not, I didn't know at the time that I'll win the litigation, but I was ready to put, to guarantee from my own money any shortfall. This is number two. Number three, if money was my only motivation, the best thing for me is to sell the club right now. Because we're in the Premier League, I will not. If we get relegated next year, I'm not gonna get like even half of the value I can get right now. I really love football. I love Premier League. My passion is football. I feel it's an honor. It's like how many 20 guys in the world can say we own a football club. And when it's like Sheffield United, the history, the colors, Bramall Lane, Chris Wilder, you don't give that away easily. It's not all about the money. I want to be in the club. I want to improve it. I want in 5 years when I look back to feel proud of what I did. And I know we can improve everything in the club, but the most important thing is the first team results. And we're going to work with Chris and with Stephen and with everybody to make the club stronger. And I think we have the right ingredients, but we need luck. Look at the Southampton game. That was, I mean, those type of games that 50-50 or we played better, we could have won. But sometimes in football you don't get lucky. I hope like we win all the 50-50 games, because I really feel that Sheffield United now with the squad we have is a Premier League club, of course, with also Chris' magic touch. I don't know what he does. Sometimes I suspect it's black magic is involved, but maybe not. But I think, as I said, every year we stay in the Premier League. Chris will have the opportunity to add like some good players. Like I think for us, this transfer window, when we look back in 5 years, we're going to be happy about like most of the players we signed. Okay, we signed some players only for 1 year, but maybe 8 players that we signed for long term or 7, I think we'll be very happy with.
Question we had in for Stephen Bettis a little bit earlier on. Stephen, it's been well documented that you do enjoy a very special relationship with Chris Wilder as a CEO and a manager, which is a really integral part of any football club. You yourself must be, I suppose, in a sense relieved now that other distractions have been moved out of the way and you can get on with doing the job that you two set out to do in the first place.
Yeah, look, I mean, I have to say that the last few years, well, the last year or so, at times has been difficult, but both owners have been excellent in the way they managed it and been professional about it to make it easier for us to actually, the distractions not to hurt us. And I think that shows by the results we've had and where we've got to in the last season. My relationship with Chris is obviously well documented, and we're good mates, but obviously we've got a professional relationship as well, and I think that shows by the way it's worked for the last few years and the results we've had. Going forward, it's great to not have the distractions, and it's great for us to focus on pushing this club forward and hopefully staying for many years in the Premier League.
Thanks, Stephen.
Forever.
We have a question with Matt Bassett at the back of the room. Once again, sir, your name and your question and who for, please.
My name's Alex, and I'd like to ask a question to Chris. First of all, thank you for everything that you've done to the club during this tenure, and long may it continue. But my question is, in light of Kevin McCabe's comments in his Sky Sports interview, where he asked you to think long and hard about your position, what do you make of that?
I work for the football club. I love this football club. You all know that. We all do. We wouldn't be here otherwise. You know, difficult decisions from my point of view will come up if my position gets compromised, and I can't take the club in the direction that I believe myself, experienced staff, and most importantly, you guys want it to go. That's the only time that my position will get compromised. You know, I've had it before in my managerial career at a younger age, and now I think I've got a little bit more behind me than I had at that time, and I had to make a decision. But you know, as I said, I work for the football club, and you know, all the signs, and I think Steve's hit the nail on the head. We wouldn't have achieved the success that we've all enjoyed over the last 3 years if there was absolutely carnage going on in the background and people just trying to make my job as difficult as possible. You know, as I said, full respect to both of the owners in terms of, and I've, you know, said things that I've needed to say, because when I came into the job, I wanted to walk through the front door, stick my head up, stick my chin up, turn the club around, which we have done. And when I do leave, when that will be, who knows, because of the game of football, I want to know that when I do leave, I leave the club in a better position and I leave with my head held high. And because, you know, as I said, it's not only just the football club I love the city as well. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's head down. We've had a steady away start. We're a little bit disappointed with maybe the points total that we've got. I'm delighted with the squad that we've got. We have to keep improving. We have to keep making forward steps. I don't want us ever to take a backward step. You know, we're looking to improve every aspect of the football club. We made changes in the summer to the academy. We're looking to improve the training ground, which there's been plans for now for them to move forward. And we're looking to add to which we feel is a real hungry group of players that are desperate to play well for this football club and not only, you know, keep us in the Premier League, but move forward in the division, which is an unbelievably tough one.
Thanks, Chris. Some great questions coming out tonight. Next, stand up in the air, please. Let's have the next question. We've got a lady down there. Was it a lady or a gentleman? Not that I can't tell the difference, sir. I just can't see you from here. Your name, sir, please?
My name's Bill Fraser, and it's a question to the Prince. What's the situation with TC? Is he say and die, or will he be welcomed back to the club? He's the greatest living icon of the club at the moment, although Chris is pushing him getting there. Sorry.
I mean, he is a big part of the club. He was voted the best player of the club. So will always be treated with respect. I'm going to meet him tomorrow. I'm sure he loves the club. He wants whatever best for the club. And I think when we meet him tomorrow, hopefully we'll explain to him what we are about. And he's always going to be a big part of the club.
Talking of great players. Yeah, big round of applause for that. And I'll stand there as well, talking about legends of this football club. There's one sat here who just turned up tonight because he's concerned about Sheffield United. Please give a big round of applause, Len Badger. They made them blades well in Darnell badge, didn't they? Question at this side of the room. So once again, you know the form, your name, your question, and who for, please.
Yeah, my name's Frank Spencer. Thank you very much. The question will be to the Prince in a minute, but I've been coming down here at Bramall Lane for 51 years now, and we've seen some good managers come and go. H.R.H was the first one when I first came down. He was a great team in 70-71. Bassett, and then the last manager who took us to the Premiership, Warnock, although it for only 1 year. Until now, we've got the greatest manager this club's ever seen. My question to you, Prince, is, in the future to come, whether you bring somebody else in on the board or on the coaching side of things, is Chris always be the man to pick the first team squad every week in, week out, and pick the players to come to the club, transfers, without any interference from yourself, the board, and anybody else that you bring into the club?
I think we will, I mean, of course, Chris' record speaks for itself. And I work in sports all my life. I've been president of the biggest club in Saudi Arabia, which is won by FIFA, the club of the century in Asia. I know great coach when I see one. I think we got to do everything to support Chris. But hear me first. I think successful clubs are the clubs that bigger than anybody, bigger than the owner, bigger than the coach, bigger than the players. The club is for the fans. Chris, no insane. I mean, I have to be insane to say that Chris, we're not gonna support Chris all the way, and we stand behind him. We want him to be the next Alex Ferguson. We want him to stay with us for 10, 15 years. But this is a business football. If we lose 40 games 5-0, you're going to kick me and him out of the club. So you never know in football, but I'll tell you what, I'm committed to Chris, and the future will prove it.
Can I ask you just, Frank? Yeah. Okay. Did you just say that you thought one of the greatest managers in Irish history was H.R.H? Have I got you wrong? You met John Harris, didn't you? So we're a doctor in the house, please. I'll just check that one out. Next one. Yes, sir, your name, your question, and who it's for, please.
Yeah, my question's for the Prince. It's Jeff. Sorry to labour the point about investment, but at core, you did say, not you personally, but your lawyer, that actually you were talking to investors in the background. I think it's very important to the fans to know whether you intend to be a sole owner or whether you're intending to bring other partners into the club, preferably not 50-50, in terms of finance moving forward.
No, who's the lawyer who said that? I'm going to fire him. I'm not talking to any investors. The club, I mean, I don't want to sell the club. I don't want 50-50 partner. How can I say it more clear than this? I mean, this is what, I mean, I 50-50 for me, it only works with my wife here. And even that sometimes, you know.
Prince Musa'ad, you said earlier that you're moving to Sheffield. You've got a place so that you're moving in and make yourself a home in the city. Coming into this football club, I think it's important. Do you realise just how important the history, the tradition, not only of the Sheffield United Football Club, but Bramall Lane as well, and how important that is to the fans?
Yeah, so I feel very proud for this new position, and like Prince Abdullah said, time will show our vision and how we work, and it's business as usual. I'm very blessed to have the opportunity to live in the city. I'm very looking forward. As I said, we have a beautiful city and we have great fans, and we stick together and we drive our club forward.
Have you got a question for me? Your name, sir?
Brian Walton, Sheffield United Senior Blades. Prince Abdullah. Same to you, pal. What position is this is it Van Wintel? What position is he supporting? He was in the, he's in the boardroom at one time of day. I just wonder if he's still there or not, or what's your thoughts on that?
Sorry. Chris answered this question today very well. Chris, can you answer this question for me?
Vanu? No, I did, yeah. I mean, you know, as I said, what I've said about... Never drunk so much water, by the way. Talked about, you know, from my point of view, of course, to make the club better. And there was a situation a while back. I don't think we can shy away from it. There may be to bring Jan in, but I basically said that I didn't think it was needed at the time. Now Jan's been on the board for Steve. Well, quite many years, a couple of years at least. Yeah, he's been on the board, so he's been, you know, involved in everything that goes through at boardroom level. So, you know, and obviously, to sign off and agreement, you know, Van as an opinion, Jan has an opinion, and a very trusty one with his experience, what he's had, and as I said this afternoon, you know, I'm not an arrogant type of guy that thinks we all know everything regarding football, and you know, if there is a time where we use Jan's expertise and knowledge, especially in terms of the recruitment part of it, then we will certainly use him and for us to get better and to move forward. But as far as I'm concerned, we talked about, you know, team selection, signing players. I'll have the last say, and I think it is important that I do have that.
He does have that.
I do have that, thank you. Because, yeah, and I think that's important that the players have clarity as well, and everybody has clarity on that. But, you know, Jan, as I said, is an important part, an important member of the board, and we'll use him when we need to use him.
Thanks, Chris. Great questions these. Yeah, feel free to clap. That's free. We've got one down here, hand up in the air, sir. You know the drill by now.
Hello. Okay, it's working now. Thank you for organising this event tonight. Salam to the new chairman. My question is for Prince Abdullah. I just want to be clear, going back to the question about buying the ground. At the moment, the ground is not owned by the football club. Is the intention to unite the ownership of the football club with the ground so that we will own the ground once again?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I think we've done it already, but thanks for that.
If all questions were this easy.
Stick around. Where are we? Yep, you got one for me, Kate. You're just waving a microphone at the moment. You're like Bez. Your name, sir, and your question, who it's for?
My name's Bobby. Prince Musa'ad, I want to welcome you to the club. And Prince Abdullah, congratulations on becoming the sole owner.
Thank you.
I don't know who's best to... I don't know who's best to answer the question, but at the moment in time, I think the academy isn't a Category 1 academy. Are there any plans to get that to Category 1? And are there any plans to move away from Shirecliffe in order to make that happen and training facility?
If you were with us just 15 minutes before this fan forum, we were talking about the academy. What can we do about the academy? I think it's an area we will invest more in. I really think that now we're not well positioned with the budget we have, with the neighbors we have. You know, we have some wealthy neighbors now, but I think we have to improve the academy because it's proven that the cheapest way, other than the players that Chris recruit finds, I don't know how, is to bring players from the academy. And the academy had big history. Like, I think 2 of the most expensive transfers out of top 10 and defenders are from Sheffield United Academy. So I think the academy is priority for sure.
Thank you, Prince Abdullah. Yes, John. Yes, sir, your name, please, and who the question's for.
It's Roger Marsh, and the question's for Prince Abdullah. I think you gave us some good advice tonight to read the approved judgment. It's only 138 pages. Having read 60 odd, I'm only halfway through it. But like all good sports papers, I read the back page first. What's confusing for me is that you've been instructed that you have to buy the properties by July 2020. And they have to sell you their shares. But the judgment didn't say when they have to sell you their shares. Could you tell us when you might get control?
Okay, actually, you know, like, I don't know, maybe you know me more in the future. I'm terrible remembering dates. I have 7 kids. I don't remember any of them birthdays. Only one I remember was born Sunday, and it was a game. So I remember what game it was. I'm serious. I always remember things with sport events. Like, that when this club played this club, or the Champions League Eve. So anyway, I know that before the Ipswich Town game, the one we won 2-0, that we offered to buy the grounds, and I think that game we were close to getting promoted, but we were not promoted officially yet. We offered to buy all the real estate, and Kevin agreed. So there is a mechanism to set the price, and it gives. We have experts. Kevin have experts, and they both put numbers like in every one of the facilities. And if we can't reach agreement within 1 month, I think, I don't know what time frame is, then the court will appoint one, and they will set the price, and the dates is clear when do we have to pay. So there is no problem there. I just wish that we can set the price quickly so we can move forward, because until we have an agreement, we don't know exactly what will happen. But I think for the club, we don't, I'm not going to talk about other Premier League club. I'm not going to name of the clubs, but you hear the horror stories. Some investor buy the club and then sell the stadium for housing project, and then the club doesn't have stadium and play in the Olympic Stadium. Sorry. So when do you get the shares? The shares, I think my lawyers maybe can answer that. Do you want to answer that? 4 weeks.
Okay, Roger? Yeah, thanks for that. John, did you wave your hand in the air for another question? Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a bit of background noise at the moment. Please, we said the house rules. If we've got people on stage, people asking questions, then it tends to lose its direction if we've got chattering in the background. I respectfully ask for you, please keep your conversations restrained to the end and let people have a say. It'd be great. We can just hear a bit better then. Yes, sir, your name and your question.
Hi, my name's Sean and my question's for Prince Abdullah. I followed the court case very closely over the summer, and you was trying to get a loan off somebody, and you told them that there was some very good land in Shirecliffe that you could build on.
Sorry?
You told the person you was requesting a loan from that there was some very good land in Shirecliffe they could build on. Well, it's true, right? So my question is, we was worried at the time that there'd be an asset stripping job, but you've answered that. So my question is, what is your vision for Shirecliffe? Is it big enough? Is it big enough to expand to put all Chris's plans in place on Shirecliffe, or do you envision moving to a bigger base? You know,
I think the academy, as I said, the facilities, the gym, everything. I think we don't have world-class facilities right now, and we can't be a world-class club if we don't have world-class facilities. So it's one of the priorities that really we have to work hard at it, improve. My daughter, Musa'ad is married to one of my daughters, but my other daughter, who came here 2 weeks ago, and she played football with the women, with the ladies team here in Sheffield. She told me that the facilities here are really horrible, the gym, everything. You have to do something fast. I told her, okay, I have enough pressure from Steve and Chris. No need for pressure from you. Thank you very much. So we're going to work hard, to improve the facilities. As for the loan, I never took a loan for myself. I don't want to go through the case. Read as I said, the judgment. The loan was for the club. I never put my shares for sale. I was trying to help my partner sell his shares. So I think you should get your facts straight. The loan was not for me. And you have the judgment, read it. Thank you.
I think every father out there should read the best birthday present your daughter will ever get is a new gymnasium at Sheffield United. It was brilliant. Somebody down the front there with Kate. Yes, your name and your question, please.
Hello, my name's Mark. This is for the Prince. You said on Sky Sports News today you want the club to be self-sustainable. Now, most clubs in the Premier League still aren't self-sustainable, and they still need chairman's actual income to actually improve them and everything. So have you got the wealth to actually improve us, to make us into someone like the top six, and also judge to actually make us that way? And just on your previous comment, surely you cannot buy the McCabe shares until after the 14th of October, because he still has 21 days to actually lodge an appeal, so you can't do it in 4 weeks' time.
I'm paying my lawyers very well, so if they tell me an answer, I assume they're right. Hopefully. Anyway, so let's go back to your first question. I beg to differ with you. I think I don't want to say all, because I try to be accurate with what I say. But if you want to make a side bet, that Premier League, none of them, I would not say none of them, but most of them make profits right now. But having said that, I think we will. Sorry? No, okay, let's make a side bet after the, okay. No, I think, look, I know, I worked in sports all my life. I helped my club in Saudi sign the biggest deal in the Middle East, the biggest sponsorship deal in the Middle East. Still, until this day, okay, maybe I'm a prince, but I'm like really good with money, so I'm not your typical prince. So I know when like Sheffield United can get better sponsors. The Premier League is the most watched league in the world. Now even in Saudi, because they feel like there is a club in the league that's owned by Saudi, they're more interested. Our work now will start to bring more sponsors, because the more money we can bring the club, the healthier the club, the stronger the club can be. If you look, I mean, as I said, action speaks louder than words. I put until now, until last year, over 35 million pounds. For, I don't know, for some people in the Middle East, that's like nothing. But for me, that's big money for me. I am a self-made man. I had to work for all the money I got. It was a huge risk. If we didn't go to the Premier League, I would have had to put another 12 million to cover the deficit. Every year, deficit was around 10 to 12 million pounds. So, I mean, if we didn't get promoted, maybe I would have wished to lose the litigation. Just not to pay the 12 million pounds, because it's very expensive owning a club here. But for me, I think if I can do one service to the club is to make it self-sufficient, to bring more sponsors. So I mean, when one day I'm not there, or the club can sustain itself. I mean, we can do that. I believe if we can bring to a sponsor with 20 or 30 million pound more, it means better player in the team. It means stronger position in the table. So that's our work. We can sleep comfortable that the team is in good hands. We have Chris. We're blessed to have Chris. Hopefully he will not go crazy on us. But I mean, look, we can't ask for a better coach. So we're secure there. But I think we have to work in other areas, because I think when I look at the level of sponsorship we have, it's below what a club of like Sheffield United should get.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we said, the area in the ground is going to be the Platinum Suite. It's going to be open to 8. That's not a bad thing, is it? Our guests are with us till approximately 8 o'clock tonight. They've got another appointment to leave to, but the room will be open till 8:30 as stated. And we've got many, many members of, and now I'll sing Sinatra, thank you, of the backroom staff and senior management team around as well, who are welcome to have a chat with. But we'll carry on with the questions. We've got one with Matt in the middle, sir. Once again, your name and your question and whom it's for. I'm going to run a book. I bet it's not for. Go on.
I've got a question and a comment, actually. But a question for Prince Abdullah, as you would expect, and a comment for Chris. But Prince Abdullah, I'm a Sheffield lad. I need things very clearly explained to me. Whatever you end up having to pay for the real estate, whether it's 40, whether it's 50, whatever it is, are you going to loan against the Premier League money to pay that from your company?
Look, I think it is very difficult to answer the question because it has many variables. Number one is we don't know how much the real estate will cost. Number two, we don't know if we are going to be in the Premier League or not. If we are going to be in the Premier League next year, then there will be no problem for sure. The real estate will be covered. We're gonna be able to have healthy budget next year to bring more players. The problem will be if, God forbid, we go to championship. Then we will have a huge deficit, which if I don't cover, I'll be screwed. So I'll have to cover it. I don't know if that's clear for you.
Okay. The very quick question for Chris is, can we have some more second halves like Chelsea, please, Chris? And less of the first half, man.
Yes, young man, your question, please. Your name first, Tom.
My name's Tom Howarth. My question's for Prince. I just wondered about timescale, about ground improvements. I've seen old photos and like putting in extra tee on cop and stuff. Just wondered when they'd start.
I think Musa'ad will be moving to, and my daughter will be moving to Sheffield soon. Stephen is here. We're gonna look at every facility. Like, you have to remember first, we still don't have an agreement for the facilities. But anyway, we're gonna look at every facility we have, every detail. And we don't want to do anything level. We want to do everything A1. Because we don't want to cut any corners. I mean, we have to do a world-class facility to try to do everything with, maybe not everything at the same time, but I mean, we don't want to do, I mean, look, I've been to many football fields. It doesn't have to be the most expensive, but I think the level of everything we have can be much better. So we're going to do everything step by step. I don't know where we will start, but I'm sure we're going to do everything.
Thank you, Prince Abdullah. One down the front again with Kate. Phil, give him your name.
My name's Phil. I'm chairman of Disabled Supporters, and my questions to Steve. Can you tell us and give us a plan when we'll be able to get better disabled facilities?
Yeah, I mean, this is a constant problem for us, unfortunately, at the stadium due to it being an old building and the old construction for it. Access is a constant issue for us. We've got Kay here tonight, I think, who looks after that side for us. We're constantly looking at ways at trying to improve it. Unfortunately, with the old building, it's a constant struggle for us. But rest assured, I've got a meeting with Kay tomorrow, actually, at 11 a.m, and it's top of our list to discuss and look at ways of improving it going forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen. Matt, did you say we got one down here? You know the drill by now, sir?
My name's John. I'd like to ask the Prince, what are your intentions for the individuals that own the other 12% of the shares of Sheffield United?
Can you answer this question? Sorry? What? It has nothing to do with me, I think.
Sorry, get a microphone at the back of the room, John, please. Lee, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lee. I'm Prince Abdullah's lawyer. Frankly, the 12% of Sheffield United Limited is a matter for Kevin McCabe and his family. It's nothing to do with Prince Abdullah and his investment in Sheffield United.
Thanks, Lee. Okay, sir. We're drawing towards that witching hour of 8 o'clock. Do we have another couple of questions? We're getting a lot round at the front. Can we have one in the middle before we go back down there, please? Mr. Walton, you've had one already. We'll come back to you if we get a chance. Yes, sir. You're a new one to the table. Any time soon would be great if you've...
Like that. Okay, thanks very much. It's a question for the Prince and Mr. Chairman. Welcome on board. But it's rather a drawn-out question. It's one about scepticism I've had in the past. We've all been to fans forums many times in the past, and we've heard some fantastic questions from the floor, and we've heard, I would say, some rather diplomatic answers from the table. And with all due respect to previous chairmen and owners we've had in the past, which names I shall not go to, we've always been a club of, in my opinion, of the last 30 years or so, slightly broken promises. I've heard what you've said about, earlier on in the meeting, about ground improvement and turning Bramall Lane into, a super stadium. Now, my problem is I would like you and the chairman to stand up and look me in the eye. I'm 60 years old. I'm not wet behind ears. I'd like you to tell me why we should believe this new board of directors. Everything you've told us is going to come to fruition when we've been told this 7 or 8 times in the past. And I'd like you to stand up and say, Bill, don't you worry this about that, because this is going to happen. I just don't want to come to a situation where on the 31st of July next year, we have to adhere to the court judgment. And you mention figures off the top of your head regarding the real estate. Should that be out of your league, or are they going to be left high and dry without a chairman, without an owner, without a manager, and so on and so forth? Because I am bricking myself that within a year's time or 10 months' time, we are back to square one. And like you've said, if we are in the championship, it puts us to plan B. And I just need to know what makes us believe this new regime is going to come true. Tell me why I should believe it.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill, when I became president of my local club in Saudi, which is a big club, they have almost like in 46% of the fan base in Saudi, and Saudi is like 30 million. The population is 30 million, so that's about 10 million fans. Everybody before me used to tell the fans what they like to hear. I never told the fan what they like to hear. So I wasn't loved by the fan in the beginning because I would not just speak to their emotions. If I think that I can do something, I don't say it. That's why, like, I thought that served me, because now in Saudi, even the people who don't like me, they believe me. They will call me many names, but liar is not one of them. I've been hated by the fans, loved by the fans. I've been shown, like, told you're number one by different fingers. But but I always know. I mean, even the people who don't like me, they will say he means what he says what he means. And so look, if we go to championship, it's gonna be difficult to do all the improvement we talked about. But if we stay in the Premier League, don't believe me. Just wait 4 or 5 years. And come here in 4 or 5 years. You're only older than me, 6 years? I am 54. So, and you tell me thank you, or you tell me you lied to us.
Okay, Bill? We've got just time for another couple of questions. John's waving at the back of the room. We'll take one for the far side. We've done all this row in the middle. Give someone else. Yeah.
Can you inform me how many times you weren't able to put in adequate funds to find a football club? I believe from looking at the figures I've got that on more than one occasion you didn't provide promised support. Secondly, you obviously got a loan from the Bin Laden family, much to the distress of Kevin McCabe and his family, because you needed the money. I'm absolutely aghast that you can actually sit here saying you've got plenty of funds, plenty of money, when, believe it or not, I don't think you have.
Number one, I didn't say I have plenty of money, but look, are you willing to put your money where your mouth is? Let's make a bet. You put money, I put money, and then we see who's telling the truth. I mean, talk is cheap. Go read the judgment, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up to 8 o'clock, which we said would be the time our guests will be leaving. In the spirit of the things, we're going to take 2 more questions. We're going to come to one of the gentlemen over here. We've had a few down there, folks. We've only got limited time. You've had one, sir, I think. I'm going to take a fresh one, Brian, I'm afraid. I'm going to take a fresh one. Yeah, if I can get Kate down at the front, Angela down there. We'll take Angela. Nobody from down there. We've had some from the middle, so we need to take one from down here. Where's Kate? Come on, Kate, run. Front row. I'm timing you. That Kate did her back last week, bless her. See, Keith could have helped, but he didn't. Just a Keith. Keith. It's like a pantomime. Your name, Angela, please.
Angela Bullivan. It's a question for Prince Abdullah. I was just wondering what your intentions and plans are with regards to the Sheffield United women's team.
I think it's a big important of the club, and we're going to make it better. My daughter loves football. My daughter Reem, she's not here with us today. She will be in the board. She will be looking after the ladies team. She practiced with them for 1 week, and we're going to make it better, as everything in this great club.
Hello. Just conferring with Prince Musa'ad, the manager. Look, these forums are running very, very well tonight, and I think all the top table happy to carry on for a bit longer if you're all right with that. You okay? Yeah. Big round of applause for the guests. Thanks, guys. And now the panic's off. We'll take this guest down here, please. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's Frank again. It's not really a question, but I want to take it back to an answer that you've already given, Prince, and it's to a guy at the front who asked you about the academy and whether you're going to extend into it and get up to status 1. And in that answer, you mentioned that Now that we've got wealthy neighbours, I take it you didn't mean Sheffield Wednesday.
Come on, I know better.
Cheers, Frank. John, you've got one. Again, say your name, please.
Hello, my name's Luke. Questions for Prince Abdullah. You've touched on sponsor and also you've touched on tradition of the club. With your forward thinking on your sponsorship, would you ever think about changing the name of the ground? Because in most people's heads, that is
It's
a
not going to be
no-no.
called Sony Ground or whatever. It will always be Bramall Lane. Now, the question is, if somebody come and pay the club like £20 million a year and say Bramall Lane buy like a club, we're going to consult with the fans, with the board, with Chris, and see. I mean, there is maybe a trade-off. Do we refuse big money if it's 10, 20 million pounds, which will make the team better? But Bramall Lane name will always be there. We're not gonna like erase that name.
Sir, can we not shout out, please? We agreed at the beginning. If you've got a point, just put your hand up. We'll bring a microphone to you. I can only hear voices.
So, I mean, I think Bramall Lane is it's a name that should always be there. The question, because I thought about this, I said, what if somebody said and name it stadium so-and-so will pay the club £30 million a year, which means probably that we can bring two very good players, which will make us stay in the Premier League. I don't know, it will be tough. I hope we don't face that test, because I want to keep Bramall Lane. Maybe the compromise will be like Bramall Lane in association with so-and-so.
Just a second, sir. Can we get a microphone? If you're finishing your point, it's pointless you talk because nobody can hear. Can we get a microphone across? Cheers, John. Thank you, sir.
You talk about the tradition in the club, how you've said about it, but obviously I'd probably speak for majority of fans in here that it is a big thing that, and obviously we do always want to say that we are coming to the lane.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't know. I mean, we would not do. That's my position for now. We'll always be Bramall Lane. If we get an offer to like the Bramall Lane in association with like Sony or in association with big company or Bramall, maybe we'll think about it if the money is big. But if we find that it's not popular with the fans, we may not do it. But there is a trade-off. Should we turn away £30 million, which is maybe translate to two top players or not? I don't know. I mean, we'll talk with you more. We have to discuss it more, I think.
Thank you.
Thanks, Prince Abdullah. You're into your bonus minutes now, ladies and gentlemen. Next question, please. We've got some more hands in the air. Yes, madam.
Hi, it's Sarah. There's a couple of quick things. One, I think it's a testament to the club and everybody that works at it that we went from the third division up into the Premier League with everything that was going on in the background, and I'd just like to thank everybody for doing that. And also, a question for Chris. Have you got an action plan for when the transfer window opens?
Yeah, there's always an action plan, and I think we've had one of our big successes is that is on a recruitment point of view, and even in the summer, even though it wasn't talked about in a major way, we had to make sure that we signed young, hungry players out of the Championship that we feel that can do well in the Premier League. So if by any chance that we didn't get the results and the success that we're all after, that we're healthy and strong enough to stay in another challenge going forward next year, which I honestly believe after five games, my confidence in this group of players is growing by the game, and as you could see in the games, Chelsea away. Sorry about the first half performance. Sorry that Jack O'Connell crashed into John Egan. You know, the recruitment's been a major part. We've done it within budget, and always now we're looking to what do we need for the experience of the first part of the season. What do we need? But as Prince Abdullah said, you know, we're looking maybe at 2 or 3 in January to bring in, because we feel it's more quality than quantity now. We made the big changes in the summer. Some players went, which was unfortunate, but we feel all the players that we've brought in are real assets at a great age, great desire about them and quality to improve them, and hopefully we can improve in January as well.
Thanks, Chris. On the back, sir, once again, I know we've had you before, but we kind of have to give you your name and who the question's for.
Hi, Steve again. Question is for the Prince, and it sort of follows on from what Chris was just talking about in January. If we're not in, come January, we're not in the top 6, we're not mid-table, and we are in the bottom 6, and all you've talked about, for us, the club needs to be, it's paramount that we stay in the Premier League. So are you guaranteeing us here, you're telling us here face to face to the fans that there's going to be, you backed him in the summer, 40, 50 million transfer budget. That type of money is going to be, again, available for Chris, no matter where we are. If we're bottom, second, third, or whatever bottom, the money's there for Chris in January.
I think we should not mortgage also the club future, because every player you bring, it's not only the transfer fee, it's the salaries, is what will happen if you add. Chris is, I mean, look at the players. He just said the players we brought this year. They're all young. They're gonna be with us if God forbid we get relegated. But we have to be responsible. We can't just like do what Fulham did last year, and then we get relegated. And look at where Stoke City now, Huddersfield in the Championship table. We have to do everything, but we have to also be careful not to put ourselves in a tough position, because we could look how much Fulham spent last year, 100 million, right? They're back in the Championship. How much? Norwich City just beat Manchester City, right? They spent only 1 million in the summer transfer window. Money doesn't guarantee you success. We have to spend, but spend wisely. Chris has proven that he has good eye for talent, and the players we brought, I mean, I think most of us, I'm sure, like happy with all of them. So we have to evaluate it then. But if all what it takes is 1 or 2 players for us to secure our chances, of course we have to do that. But we have to think with a reason. We can't just go crazy and then get relegated and then have real problems next year.
I think what we wanted to do in the summer as well, not take a wrecking ball to the group as well. You know, I think, you know, what was there in the first game of the season, 10 out of the 11 were the ones that started in the Championship as well. So myself and Steve have got a responsibility as much as the owners have in terms of the club's future as well. And certainly we will walk away from deals. We did in the summer, from a financial point of view, from a wages point of view, from a fee point of view, because, you know, and obviously I have to leave a little bit on our position down the road, as I always do, which I always say to Kevin, an opportunity to leave a bit on them won't be missed, and I'm not going to. You know, the situation that those Championship clubs find themselves in because of overspend, because the manager gets excited and wants to spend this and spend that on players and then leaves. And from my point of view, obviously, that won't happen, and from Steve's point of view, that won't happen. So, as much as the responsibility of the owners to look after the club, that's a big thing for me, and Steve especially.
Thanks, Chris. Katie, down at the bottom of the room there. Once again, name and number, please.
Hi, it's Chris. I'm not sure who would address this question, but it's on behalf of a friend of mine who's followed United home and away for years and years, just moved to America. He only gets over for the last game of the season. And ticket allocations being what they are at the moment, what he wants to know is, can he have Kevin McCabe's season ticket for the last game of the season?
We have some brutal fans.
How'd you follow that one? Got a couple down here getting their hands up towards the end. Yes, sir. Liking their gear?
Yeah,
as ever.
Mine's to Chris. I went to see the under-23s on Monday, and I was very impressed. How
how close are some of these players getting into the first team? And there's a lot being wrote about the kid at Derry City. Can you let us know what's going on in that situation?
Well, it was a policy of ours to get the young kids. It's a very, very young group. The older boys are out on loan. Regan, Tyler Smith, Sam Graham, David Parkhouse are out on loan gaining valuable experience. So we've got an in-house scout that goes and watches those boys, Reece Norrington-Davis, who's playing at Rochdale as well. So there still is that pathway for the young boys. You know, as I said, the club needs to always lift and raise the game, and not only just at first team level, not only off the pitch, but on the pitch, but in all aspects of the football club. And we needed to make some changes in the summer, which we felt we've done, in bringing Jack in. I know he's in the corner. We're very much aligned to each other, the top building and the bottom. They've got the better building at the moment, so we'll try and change that round. But you know, Jack's very much got his heart at the football club, knows what I want from young players, and there's still that pathway. And we're delighted that, you know, they're playing at Chesterfield at the moment, so if we can get as many people along to watch them. I've been delighted with the performances as well. And Jack knows that it's about getting players into the first team, and we want to carry on that tradition that's obviously served us well in the past.
Thanks, Chris. We'll take one at the back first, sir. Yep. Name, please, sir, and question.
Hi, name's Russ Bradbury. It's actually, I'd like to say to Steve, I get the feeling you've very much been the glue that's kept things going over the last couple of years. I think probably an unsung hero, maybe. Are you with us now for the next couple of years or more? And just a quick one for Chris. Is Paul Mitchell on with everything? Is he still on board?
I hope he is,
You've not just mentioned anything about him, that's all.
Yeah, he is, yeah. He should be out now. I hope he's not in Working Men's Club at Handsworth, because if he is, he ain't doing his job right.
I think we've got one there, John. Then we've got a gentleman down here, Matt, as well. We'll come back up to you guys in a minute. Yeah, your name is ever, Brian?
Brian Walton again, Sheffield United Senior Blades, Prince Abdullah. On October the 8th, obviously this coming month, we have a luncheon down here. In this Platinum Suite, there'll be roughly about 250 there. Can I invite you and your entourage to our luncheon? Everybody's got to be over 60. I think it'll be very, very interesting for you.
Okay.
I'll not put you on as a spot ball, by the way, but there'll be one or two interesting questions there. We've got guys down there, by the way, that's been 75 years supporting Sheffield United. So I just wondered if I could invite you and your entourage. And it's a lunchtime, by the way, not middle at night. Would you be interested?
It will be my honor, but let me tell you one thing. I was coming last year to a game. I don't think it was the Ipswich game. It was the one before. What did we play before Ipswich? Forest. Yeah, Forest, the 1-0 game. Yeah, okay. So, and I was traveling with my daughter, Musa'ad, and my friend. And a reporter was with us in the train. I didn't know he was a reporter. He wrote story the next day that the prince traveled with the entourage. I think if I travel with my family, I don't know how is that called entourage. I don't have entourages with me. I travel always with my family. If I go to the state, I go alone. I have a friend. Not every prince has entourage, so I'm not that entourage type.
Gentlemen at the front here, you coming to the questions? You know the drill, Ray.
Hello, my name's Ramon Mohammed. Salam alaikum, Kaif halak, and happy Saudi Day next week and so on. I followed Sheffield United as long as John knows, and so on and so on. But I have followed Al Hilal. I lived in Saudi Arabia from 2010 to 2016, and there are fantastic fans there. They don't always agree with you, as you pointed out today. Yes. But what I'm interested in is just following the Twitter debate over the last 48 hours. Yes. I don't know whether you put that Arabic SUFC on a bit too, because there's been lots of unsavoury things being said on there, on both sides actually, from the Saudi side and and the Sheffield United side. And I was just wondering how are you going to kind of... This is great, because I came in trepidation. I thought, oh, there's going to be a lot of anger here, but there's a lot of love. So how are you going to put that love across on social media? Because what I've read over the last 48 hours has been quite negative. And can I say, following Al Hilal from 2010 to 2016 was fantastic. And my wife is Saudi, by the way. So I know my marriage is to Sheffield United and to my wife.
Oh,
yeah.
you're
So,
the perfect fan.
Bigamy, Raymond, eh?
I think many clubs, like Manchester City, many clubs have Arabic Twitter, and I think Sheffield United has to be a global brand. For us to bring sponsors from Saudi Arabia and inject millions to this club and to this city, I think we have to think like we're a global club. Premier League is watched everywhere. We cannot just think about the club is Sheffield United. It has a city name. But we have to make the brand global, and having it Arabic Twitter is very important. Now there is like Sheffield United phenomena in Saudi. Everybody follows Sheffield United. Like we get a good result, and like I get 5,000 or 10,000 congratulations in Saudi. They feel that that's good for the club, because the more supporters the club has, the more sponsor we can bring, the better the club is. So I don't see that a negative. Sheffield United will always be Sheffield club. It will always have the roots here. It will always have, I mean, it's Bramall Lane, the history. But for us to have fans everywhere in the world, I don't see how it's that bad. This is a very good thing for the club.
Thanks, Prince Abdullah. Right, these are going to be the last two questions now. We've got a gentleman at the back. Big and bold, up you go.
It's Alex again. So a question for the Prince. It's been well documented that your exposure around Bramall Lane has been very limited during your tenure. So I think it's been documented you've only been to 3 or 4 games?
8 games.
8 games, so
and 3
it's
years.
a few more, but still, obviously.
3 years, because out of the 6 years I'm on the club, 3 years I was Minister of Sport in Saudi.
I understand that. So my question is now, is that where your son's coming in to obviously be seen and be around the fans around Bramall Lane?
Look, let me give you...
Because that is a big thing to...
Let me give you a bit of history. Like when I don't care about the game or the club, I like to go to the stadium. But when it's my club, I have some rituals. I want to watch the game alone, mute. I don't want anybody to talk to me. If we lose, I turn the TV off. Nobody talk to me for hours. Nobody can say tough luck. It was a penalty or anything, or there'll be some not very nice words. So I one time went to the stadium for a Hilal game, and we lost the game, and I got into a fight. I don't want to do that. I mean, I want you to see only the good side of me. So now with cameras everywhere, with phones, everything, I like to watch the game alone in mute. If we win, I'm happy. If we lose, I'm miserable, but miserable alone. Like the Cardiff City game last year, they missed the penalty, minute 94? When they scored minute 95, oh my God, I swear, stomach pain for 3 days. I don't need to have that, like I have people see me maybe like cursing or crying or punching somebody. I have enough problems.
Thanks again, Prince Abdullah. Right, the last question, make it a good one, because there'll be some good ones tonight.
This is a question for Chris.
What's your name?
My name's Dan. There's been a lot of key factors over the past 3 years. Two that stick in my mind is last season when we conceded 3 goals against Villa.
Well, Dean Henderson conceded 3 goals, didn't he?
And then
I didn't.
And then
2 goals to be fair.
And then in your first season when we lost 2-1 to Millwall, when you famously asked Billy to get the beers in. That was just selfish. That was just for me, really. I wasn't out to the players. I wasn't that bothered. But both of those key factors have come from disheartening results. I take there's going to be 2 or 3 this season. How do you kind of motivate your players when there's disheartening results to kind of bounce back and keep fighting?
There's a lot of talk about precious footballers, and I don't do precious footballers. They're men. They've got to be meant to be in our changing room. You have to take the hits along the way, and we have done, as Prince Abdullah just said there regarding that game. that was a low point for us, and we came roaring back after that. And I just think that shows how much the bottle of the team and the character of the team is just as important as organisation and technical ability, what's underneath the shirt, and what they're all about as a team. So, there is going to be disappointments, and we've talked about it. We're used to winning games of football over the last 3 years, and we all are, as not just myself and staff and players, supporters are. But I've got to say that the sort of the support that we've had, even in defeat, as long as the team perform to the best of their ability and give everything and leave everything out on the park, I think ourselves, myself included, can accept that, i.e. the 2 games that we've already had. The key is, of course, is how we bounce back from defeat, and that's going to, from a mentality point of view, going to be very, very important. But, we have to quickly write off those defeats and get on, and we've been pretty good at that over the last 3 years in terms of, any defeat that we've had, usually follow it up by a win. So obviously 3 points at Everton Saturday would be brilliant.
Thanks, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't think of a better point to end the evening. Firstly, I hope each and every one of you asked the questions that you wanted to ask, the ones that you brought with you tonight, and made the points that you wish to make. And for that openness of the forum, could you please show your appreciation and thanks for our special guest, Chairman Prince Musa'ad, the Manager of the Blades, Mr. Chris Wilder, Prince Abdullah, and of course the Chief Executive, Stephen Bettis. Thank you, gentlemen.